4-color Pyromancer on Brennan's side. It's hard to really categorize the deck because each opening hand is going to do something a little different. In this matchup, though, what I want to care about, Ryan, is the interaction, because whatever he's doing, he's slower. So 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Inquisition of Kozilek. That's where we start. 3 Bolt, 3 Fatal Push. Okay, and then he's got some threats, and those threats are all over the place.
Yeah, you have a good amount of discard, and then you have some interaction for the mana creatures, the Brawls, the Goblin Electromancers.
Right.
The issue is your closing speed's pretty light.
Yep.
Bedlam Reveler is largely in the deck to gas back up. This is not a matchup where you're kind of wearing each other out.
Turn 1 Faithless Looting from Brennan. He has 4 copies of that in the deck. I feel like this is going to play out where Brennan is bad Jund here. You know, the cards I like in the matchup are all the Jund cards. You know, the Thoughtseize, Inquisition, Bolt, Push.
I would rather have Tarmogoyf than some of these creatures.
Yeah,
I would certainly rather have Dark Confidant.
And I'd rather have like Liliana than these Lingering Souls or this Bedlam Reveler.
Yeah.
So he discards all lands off the Faithless Looting. We go over to Matthew. We'll start on Serum Visions.
Yeah, the hand looked really heavy on lands for Brennan. This is a deck that very much wants to discard instants and sorceries because of Bedlam Reveler and specifically Lingering Souls just to get on the battlefield.
Or even to get Grim Flare to be a 4/4. You said you really like Tarmogoyf in the matchup. I like a turn 2 Grim Flare that's already a 4/4. That's a great Tarmogoyf.
Turning on Delirium for both Grim Flare and Traverse. Those are important for the deck.
But Brennan's a ways away, and he's going to cast another Faithless Looting. You don't actually like casting the second one of these in this deck because this is card disadvantage for Brennan.
Yeah, especially because the stuff he's discarded is just excess lands. He's not really getting anywhere.
Another land. There's that basic forest in his hand. Said Jerry Thompson, not a fan.
I am also not a fan.
Well, you can always discard it. Boom.
See, I put Basic Forest in my Traverse the Ovenwald deck so that I can traverse for Basic Forest.
And he says go. So Brennan has looted away 4 lands. His hand appears to be Fatal Push, Lightning Bolt, and something else. We'll see. Matthew, second land go. That's definitely representing a remand. Brennan, though, drew Inquisition of Kozilek, so he may be able to clear the way for something.
Question is, does he have something to clear the way for?
Yeah, I think he's got Push, Traverse, Bolt.
Land still.
Land,
Inquisition. Sorcery still the graveyard.
So he just has 2 removal spells, 2 lands, and an Inquisition. I mean, he can always flash back these Faithless Lootings, but that's an awfully slow line to take against a Storm deck.
Going shields down against Steam Vent Shivan Reef is troublesome.
Inquisition. Yeah, I don't even want to flash back. I don't want to flash back Faithless Looting into this. That's horrible. Matthew will remand the Inquisition. Brennan just casts it again.
How bad is it? On the remand there are multiple ops here. I guess there's multiple remands.
Matthew's hand, land number 3. Opt, sleight of hand, so 3 cantrips. A Gifts Ungiven, a remand, and a Pyretic Ritual. Plenty of stuff.
The biggest thing happening with that remand there is this hand is actually pretty far from comboing.
Yeah, it's far from comboing, which I think is good for Brennan. The bad thing is this hand is real hard to disrupt.
A lot of redraws.
Yeah, like what do you Inquisition here? Does it matter? Like the Ritual, I guess? The remand, because you have to flash. I guess the reason you want to get the remand is like if you're going to flash back Faithless Looting next turn, you don't want to see that. And so Brennan does take it.
Yeah. Like his hand is so bad that he needs to flash back a looting.
And he's like, if he remands that, I'm going to lose.
And because of that, he takes what's probably just the second best card in Matthew's hand, maybe even the third best. Obviously, he can't take Gifts Ungiven.
Matthew draws Past in Flames, and he shocks for his Steam Vents. He's got a lot of cantrips. And in Matthew's side, what I'm looking to do here is cast all these cantrips this turn and combo on the next turn.
He passed, which leads me to believe he might be ritually Gifts Ungiving.
I don't hate it. I kind of want to just sleight of hand opt, but I'll respect Matthew here. His line might just be better.
You get to choose what you find when you Gifts.
Yeah, and he just needs mana. Brennan, traverse the Ulfenwald, and his graveyard is 5 lands, 3 sorceries. So, okay.
Yeah, you don't get to count card types twice, even if you have a lot of them.
Yeah.
Only half Delirious.
I like how Brennan always has mid-range, like multicolor mid-range brews, whether it's standard or legacy or modern. It's just like that's what Brennan does. This isn't doing it for me, Ryan. This so far.
You're not impressed by turn 4 Traverse for Swamp?
Yeah, Traverse for Swamp, flashback Faithless Looting. I'm underwhelmed. Thoughtseize. We're not even going to flashback Faithless Looting. We're going to Thoughtseize.
So this is the time.
Just let him take it. Just let him take it.
Yeah, if Matthew wanted to Gifts ritual out gifts, this is when you'd have to do it.
See, I get that Matthew's doing this play. So the reason I didn't like this play as much, Ryan, is that I don't want, this is a 2 for 2. I kind of just wanted to, like, not do any card disadvantage and just, yeah, well, this will be fine. And what am I probably am just wrong.
You do need to find some more rituals specifically to ever go off. He's going to have a lot of time, which is, I think, where your argument makes sense.
Yeah.
Brennan has presented no threats and is showing no sign of ever presenting a threat.
Yeah, so I guess like what I want to do is I wanted to opt into the 4th land and then just like cast the gifts the next turn and just be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Show me that I need to do anything. I don't care yet.
You don't have to sell me on passing with a bunch of blue and red mana available.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Well, I mean, that's what he did. Spending the ritual, whatever. That'll be great.
He already has Past in Flames, so just getting access to a bunch of rituals, not difficult to convert into a win.
So he's going to get the 3 rituals plus Grape Shot, appears to be his gifts ungiven.
And Brennan doing some work on the dealing lethal damage to Brennan front.
Yeah, when you get these the issue is that Matthew's going to 100% get the Grape Shot in his hand. Like, Brennan's probably going to give him Grape Shot Pyretic.
Yeah, you can bin both the rituals and then Thoughtseize and just like take the other ritual if you want it or something else.
Which, is fine. The only thing I didn't like about the play is that Matthew had to burn his Pyretic ritual to do it, which is actually, I think, a pretty real Magic card.
In the game 1s, though, you don't expect that your graveyard's ever going to get tagged.
You're right. So, I mean, getting this stuff in your graveyard is fine. Matthew's hand will be sleight of hand, opt, whatever 2 cards he gets here. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Gives him Manamorphose Grape Shot. So, yeah, 3 blue cantrips. And then that Past in Flames. Still a great hand.
Yes.
I mentioned before, his hand is hard to Thoughtseize apart.
Not a lot of great picks here. Taking the Past in Flames makes it so it can only be cast once and it costs 1 more to start.
Oh, taking the Past in Flames feels miserable. I think I want to take the Manamorphose. Yeah, that's what Brennan does. Just take the ritual.
Yeah, largely because taking the Past in Flames doesn't actually make any inroads on the combo.
At least this slows Matthew down. You see, he draws Desperate Ritual.
Frequently, when you're Thoughtseizing, the upside of Manamorphose being a redraw is what pushes you in that direction. Because the hand is so flush on cantrips, though, that almost didn't matter.
Baral, Pyretic Ritual. Matthew can choose between the 2. He'll take the Baral.
Plenty of rituals in the graveyard already.
He might main phase 1 of these opts, hoping to hit the land drop, but he doesn't. He'll just pass. And that's fine, too. There we go. Bloodbraid Elf from Brennan. All right, this is our first Bloodbraid Elf.
Hit your free space.
Yeah, that's not what free space means. Bloodbraid will cast into Traverse, the graveyard's 5 sorceries, 5 lands. Nice. Did Brennan cast the Traverse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You still got that basic mountain.
Bloodbraid cascading into Traverse the Ulvenwald is not that exciting.
When it finds a creature and it just like gets second
when it finds
Bloodbraid
Elf, okay, that's fun.
That can be pretty nice.
Come on up to the right-hand side of the stage.
Attacks for 3.
Still not seeing any Jaces in this game.
They're in the deck?
Don't expect that's going to change.
I don't think they're in either deck.
Right,
so
that's kind of
going to be hard.
That's the big problem.
First opt scries to the bottom for Matthew. But he gets a Serum Visions at the end of the day. And he's going to go for the next opt down to 14. This is the real test, though, right? Brennan is pretty shields down here. He actually, I think, has a Lightning Bolt. But other than that, he might get comboed out this turn, and Brennan knows it. Especially because Matthew scried to the top with an opt. That is not a good sign for DeCandio. Unsubstantiate the pickup. Matthew has a bunch of spells. He didn't actually hit any more lands. I think Matthew topped Gifts Ungiven on the second opt, and I'm surprised there that he would make that play. I'm not that into gifts. I just want, like, a land.
Yeah, he really does not need that kind of effect right now. His graveyard's already pretty full. He already has access to Past in Flames and Grape Shot.
Well, here's Baral from Matthew, and that actually doesn't do anything. He has this ritual, this Desperate Ritual, but he can't start a combo off it. I think it's just Baral pass. Yeah, and that's the play. Brennan will bolt down the 1/3. And this is why I wanted the land. If Matthew had the land, he could have just tried to win this turn.
Yep.
He would have played Baral, played a 4th land, cast Desperate Ritual. Okay, Brennan bolts in response, and Matthew says, like, all right. Well, first of all, if he doesn't have the Lightning Bolt, then Matthew casts Past in Flames and wins. A swing with Bloodbraid Elf for Brennan.
And now, because he doesn't have that 4th land, Matthew really needs to draw another mana creature.
And he also didn't cast the Serum Visions in his hand.
Yeah, it looks like he has Remand, and he wanted to do something impactful with the Baral still in play.
Yeah, he has actually not Remand, he has Unsubstantiate.
Sure.
Which he could have saved his Baral that last turn.
Yeah, until Brennan's next turn.
Wait, no, he unsubstantiates the Baral back to his hand.
Sure. But then you're still not comboing the following turn. But you're right, you would have the mana creature.
Yeah. Faithless Looting flashback from Brennan, and suddenly things seem okay on Brennan's side.
Yeah, if he wants it, he has access to the discard and flashback Lingering Souls here to up the pressure a little bit.
Discards Lingering Souls, Fatal Push. Okay, so we added Instant. We're almost to Delirium, Ryan. We're not there yet, but we're closer.
Ever closer.
3. There's these 2 Mishra's Baubles and 1 Architect's the Will in the deck. As soon as we hit those, we're good.
Almost too easy.
Or the 1 Liliana of the Last Hope. Ugh.
Over a few short turns, the Liliana can put itself in the graveyard.
And Matthew draws and he just says go, he passes. Here's another Bloodbraid Elf from Brennan. Let's do it. If I'm in Brennan's spot, I'm kind of confused about what's happening here. Like, how did I not lose yet? But I'm just like, well, whatever. I'll play Bloodbraid.
With the cards that I've seen and the spells that I've resolved, I am not sure how this game is happening. But the good news,
the last traverse. Oh wow!
The good news is now I can traverse with no basic lands left in my deck.
He doesn't even. Oh, hey, I just got square. Spell Bloodbraid Elf Cascades into isn't played. Boom. I'm gonna check that one off.
He might use it to shuffle that fetch land back into his deck.
No, he didn't. It's not in the grave.
Yeah,
it's just leaving it exiled.
I think if you don't cast it, it goes on the bottom of your deck.
It
actually,
does. It does. It goes on the bottom. The judge will fix that.
Yeah, that shouldn't have any impact on this game.
Yeah.
But
okay. These Bloodbraids, man, I don't know why they unbanned this card. Look how good it is. It keeps cascading into traverse. But a 3/2 haste for 4, Ryan, that's good enough. I think Brennan might win with just a pair of 3/2 hastes.
It's looking promising.
That's what.
There's a card from Mirrodin that's just that, exactly. I guess it's a red card, not a red-green card. God, what is that? You would know it, right? It's some draft common. It's just 4 mana 3/2 haste.
From Scars?
From regular Mirrodin.
Oh, that's
it's like Volshak Berserker or
that
something.
Sounds like a nice card.
Yeah. It is the stat line of Oxida Golem, but the casting cost is very different on that one.
Here is Desperate Ritual into Gifts Ungiven for Matthew. He still might win. I mean, the thing here is about cantrip management. I think Matthew in this matchup so he's played so many cantrips, but I think he's been losing because he's not getting the right cards. I'm not positive Matthew doesn't seem to be sure of which cards he wants. He's going to get 3 Rituals and Noxious. Okay, a lot of mana. That feels right.
This is not one of the more popular decks in Modern, especially this particular build.
Brennan's or Matthew's?
Brennan's. So it could be some matchup unfamiliarity as well.
Yeah, and Brennan's going to just give him Noxious and Manamorphose. Just deny him mana. It seems like the right thing. Brennan has left up Fatal Push. That's his only interaction here.
The hand has 2 Grape Shots.
So right, I have this square on my bingo card. Traverse the Ulfenwald cast with Delirium. Just never checking out. We cast it 3 times this game.
I don't know if it can be done.
Yeah, it's really hard.
You saw Noxious Revival cast at the end step. Doing that upkeep would actually increase Storm by 1. We'll see where Matthew actually gets on this turn, though.
Yeah, he got back a Ritual with it, though, right? Desperate Ritual?
Yes, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Manamorphose, a couple Rituals. There are 2 Grape Shots in hand. So the first one only has to Storm for 7. 7's a lot.
The thing is so he starts with Desperate Ritual. All right, up to 3 red. Let's go. He's got to win this turn. He's dead on the next.
Yes.
Storm's at 1. Down to 1 red to cast Manamorphose. Storm to 2. Got unsubstantiate, serum visions. I don't know. There's a lot of draws Baral. That's not going to play.
Nope.
He's out of mana.
He does still have untapped Spire Bluff Canal, but no rituals to cast off of it.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of stuff. He needed more mana this whole time.
If it doesn't work out, he has enough to Grape Shot down both Bloodbraid Elves and then hope to go off next turn.
If you're going to play the long game here against a Jund deck, which is, I guess, what Brennan is. I mean, if I'm playing Storm, he looks like a Jund deck.
Yeah.
You want, like, the trick to beating a Jund deck is you need land drops. You just, like, make a lot of land drops and then your deck's good. And that's not what Matthew did with his cantrips. Here's Serum Vision, Storm 3. There's a land, great. Scry of 2, top card Pyretic, and something else. And a Goblin Electromancer.
Okay, the Pyretic's fine, the Electromancer's not. He's done enough where he can Grape Shot down the Bloodbraid Elves and hope to not get hit by another Bloodbraid Elf or a Lightning Bolt on the next turn.
Yeah, he shocks down to 1 off this.
He still has the mana floating, and Storm's already at 3. So you can just cast Grape Shot and pass from here. You could even Baral and then Grape Shot.
I would like that.
The difference between 1 and 3 shouldn't be very significant.
No, Bolt kills. There's no like.
You're fading the 1 Kolaghan's command.
Okay. Baral from Matthew. He's going to hold on to priority here, and that's important. So, wait, but you've got, yeah, so here's Grape Shot. 5 copies, so 2/2. Yes, he can clear the board. Brennan has Fatal Push, remember. So the Baral's going to go away now. 2/2/1, Brennan to 14. Both elves are shot down. Fatal Push used on Baral. Storm to 6. Brennan helping him out.
Yeah.
Tap land for Matthew and a pass. So, more turns. Brennan has a Bedlam Reveler, however.
A lot of sorceries in the graveyard, if you recall. That one.
Yeah, it's probably a 2-mana Reveler.
Ought to cost 2.
Ooh, I got square. Bedlam Reveler cast for 2 or 3 mana.
At least you've been missing on those traverses, I guess.
The only Bloodbraid Elf Cascade I've checked off is Cascades into isn't played. Yeah, 2-mana Bedlam Reveler, checking it off. There we go. You know, like the squares that are next to the corners but on the edges? I'm just hitting all those. Those are really nice squares.
Just the worst ones.
Those are, I think, categorically the worst ones, yeah.
Brennan's last card. Looking to discard here is Young Pyromancer.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I mean, I just want to cast a Bedlam Reveler because I want to find a Bloodbraid Elf or a Lightning Bolt.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. He's got another Bedlam Reveler. Oh, I can't cast it yet.
Yeah, just 1 red mana left over.
What? You know, if Brennan loses from this spot, it's going to be really disappointing for us. Like, because he's on so much borrowed time right now. He's like, man, and then he beat me anyway.
This game is pretty out of control.
Mishra's Bauble, Bedlam Reveler, and one other. Is that the last traverse? Is that the traverse?
He has Delirium. He discarded Young Pyromancer. It finally happened.
Creature, land. Oh, yeah.
Talk about a long walk for a short drink of water.
Yeah. So you can cast it. That means we can get Bloodbraid Elf for next turn.
True.
Here's Traverse with Delirium. Bauble. I don't think you need this, Brennan, but he can do it. Mishra's Bauble.
Wants to see if he wants to shuffle the top card away. You can still Traverse for Bloodbraid. Oh, he only has 1 green mana, so you can't do that next turn.
Yeah. So he'll Traverse with Delirium. He has 5 card types now. That means you get 2 creatures.
Actually, that's not how it works.
Oh man, you don't get. You get like 1. If you have 6 types, you get 3 creatures.
Yeah, the card is not quite that modal.
He's traversing for a Stomping Ground though, not a Bloodbraid.
Okay, you can cast the other Bedlam Reveler this turn then.
Okay.
Hoping
But
to draw
even-
a Fatal Push to try to cover an Electromancer in
All
some
right.
meaningful way.
You know what? That's fair because he's got the win locked up next turn anyway.
Yeah.
So he's trying to draw some sort of interaction, maybe a Thought Seize, maybe a push. He just passes. That's actually really smart on Brennan's side.
Right.
I like the play a lot.
Yeah, next turn it's easy, but this turn he has to just not
But
die.
is he going to get another turn? We go back over to Matthew Clarkson. He draws. He has a Ritual, Past in Flames, Grape Shot, Unsubstantiate. You know,
He's one off, right? You only have 1 mana floating after you Past in Flames?
yeah, and he can't do it. Matthew picks up the cards. Brennan DeCandio takes that game here. Man, unexpected, but he'll take it. 1-0.
Yeah. That was a real marathon.
All right. We're going to look at some changes in the sideboards for each player. But we're going to take a short break. Be right back. All right, so Brennan DeCandio picking up game 1. We're going to go to the post-sideboard games. Now, on Matthew's side, I'm going to assume we're going to see a similar strategy to what we saw Paul Muller do last game, kind of the Jund thing. Pieces of the puzzle, Ascension, empty the Warrens, all seem pretty good.
Yeah. Also, Lightning Bolts to stop things from getting out of control with Young Pyromancer is fine. Your Ascension
Sure.
kills also just make Lightning Bolt better.
Yeah, so we see that from Matthew's side, but I want to look at Brennan DeCandio's sideboard because there's a lot of fun stuff in here. 2 Nile Spell Bombs. Okay, we saw those out of Jadine last round, but then some other fun things. Engineered Explosives, Collective Brutality, Direfleet Daredevil, Kumbal, Council of Allocation, Fulminator Mage, Hazaret, Shriekmaw. This is like one of creatures I think are going back to that Traverse package.
Right. Generally, Brennan tends to find a basic land with his traverses, but there are
Okay.
some nice tools in the sideboard if
Yeah.
you can accomplish the milestone of hitting Delirium.
I like Kumbal a lot against Storm.
Yes, Kumbal is going to force Matthew to have a Lightning Bolt. You realistically can't Grape Shot that one because you're taking
You're gonna die.
like 100 damage on that turn. But then Brendan also has the Golgari Charm that can cover empty and these Pyromancer Ascensions.
Okay. So the Golgari Charm comes in.
Nile Spellbomb, Engineered Explosives, that stuff's all quite
Do you
good.
want Shriekmaw? It's fine.
Sorcery speed for 2 mana, it's not a fight that you're usually winning if that's how you're dealing with the Brawl.
It adds creature to your graveyard, which is nice.
That is true. That makes it easier to traverse for Kumbal.
Yeah. Matthew going to 6 cards here for the second game, looks like. We've started to see Direfleet Daredevil pick up in sideboards. And that to me, okay, the way I'd like to describe it is it's like Snapcaster Mage number 5, except Brennan's not playing blue, so it's Snapcaster Mage number 1.
Mm-hmm. You play what's available in your colors, but Daredevil is quite nice against any opponent that's casting a Lightning Bolt, or even discard spells. Against a blue deck, too, sometimes just nabbing their Serum Visions is pretty powerful.
All right, Matthew keeps on 6, starts off with Serum Visions.
It's like we're going top-bottom with that Serum Visions.
And Matthew also on his mulligan, he scryed to the top, so that Serum Visions pretty, was a better Serum Visions. It was a
That
card
is
that he
nice,
liked. Yeah.
because Serum Visions, for me, always draws the worst possible card.
Right.
So,
So that's why you
what's
should
coming,
mulligan.
Yes.
If you mulligan every game, then your turn 1 Serum Visions will be better.
Right.
It's a strategy.
Too easy. You're going to make it up with Snapcaster Mages anyway, right?
Turn 1 Faithless Looting from Brennan. Looks like he has a Mishra's Bauble, so gonna build up toward that Delirium. Maybe he'll get it before turn 8.
When they first unrolled the Vancouver mulligan, some people speculated that Delver of Secrets got a lot better because you could scry for an instant. I don't think that they understood that Delver of Secrets is not a very good card and dies to everything.
One, Ryan. Brennan discarded Mishra's Bauble to the Faithless Looting instead of just cycling through it.
Looks like he has lands and spells that he cares about having.
Yeah.
That is intriguing, though. It's hard to believe that with 6 cards remaining that they all matter that much. This is probably why.
Young Pyromancer. He expected it to get remanded, but it didn't.
If you have a bunch of instants and sorceries to cast with the Young Pyromancer, then those are all going to be better than Mishra's Bauble.
Matthew EOT opts. He likes what he sees, so he keeps it there. Third land, maybe see some pieces of the puzzle. It's either that or we're going to see a Grape Shot. So he's got Grape Shot, Empty the Warrens, pieces of the puzzle, Sleight of Hand. He'll go for some pieces. Finds another one. Opt, Grape Shot, Sleight of Hand, Pyretic Ritual. This card's nice in Storms. 5 choices.
And whatever's left over is good with the Past in Flames later. Yeah, and the closing speed of Young Pyromancer is not even that fast, so it makes sense to pass on the Grape Shot this turn. Something like a Dark Confidant, you'd be more inclined to sweep up.
It's so good that Pieces puts the other cards in the graveyard. That's just dumb.
Yes, plays very well with Past in Flames.
So sure, he'll take another Pieces and the Pyretic. Love it. What this means is that he can Grape Shot down the whole board next turn and still have cards left over. It's all pretty nice.
He's hitting so many cards. He can't be too far off of just trying to win with a Grape Shot even.
Yeah. Lingering Souls picked up for Brennan. His deck's slow for this matchup.
Yeah, the deck is largely built to out mid-range the opponent.
Yeah, he can still do Jund things, but it's just like he's worse at them than Jund.
Yeah. Young Pyromancer just does not have the closing speed of Tarmogoyf.
No, swing for 2, Matthew to 18.
And it has a lot of excess fragility.
You might see what, Lingering Souls here, getting 3 tokens.
That is some powerful synergy.
I mean, I'm sure your combo opponent will just be terrified by your army of mid-range. Yeah, that'll be the play.
You would have to cast fully one other spell to get more value off of an Empty the Warrens.
You know, every time Jadine did something like this on turn 3 last round, she immediately died on the next turn. I don't know that Brennan will suffer the same fate.
We'll find out.
Yeah, he should be concerned that he has no more turns. Here's Sulphur Falls. So 4 lands, 6 cards in hand. I like what Matthews has going on. This is the setup for some danger.
There's 2 rituals, a blue cantrip, and Empty the Warrens.
We'll start with Sleight of Hand. Land and another ritual takes the ritual.
Wouldn't be surprised to see goblins this turn.
No, I would like to see maybe all of it. Goblins and Grape Shot wouldn't be bad. Pyretic Ritual, spell 2 up to 3 red. He's got 2 Desperate Rituals. He could splice them for some extra mana.
It looks like without the mana creature, that is where you want to be. Unless he also wants to cast Pieces on the combo turn.
Yeah, that's the...
He'd have to use his blue mana to
so
do
right,
that.
He could just use 1 ritual, and that's what he's going to do. He's just, he's just going to cast it. Is he splicing? Let's see. Yes, he's going to go ahead and cast and splice. Spell gets spliced. I'm going to check off that square. Boom.
Wow.
It's up to 6 red.
My bingo card is terrible.
And he casts the ritual to go up to 8 red. Why did he need to cast the other ritual? I'm not...
It's more goblins.
I guess.
He didn't need to.
Needs strong. So he's going to be down to 1 card at the end of this turn, and that'll just be Pieces of the puzzle. Not a bad way to do things.
Mm-hmm. You know that Lingering Souls is getting flashed back, so the extra goblins, they immediately and clearly matter.
Yeah. Do you want more goblins or more Grape Shots?
More goblins.
All right. So spell number 5 is Grape Shot, and that can clear away the... I assume you just clear away the board and send one upstairs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what he does. Brennan to 13. And goblins. It's going to be 12 goblins off of this Empty the Warrens.
There's a fine number of goblins.
Might be beatable on Brennan's side. I don't know.
If he has engineered explosives, it's extremely beatable.
Yeah, but I guess he can't like naturally beat it just by like blockers and removal. He has to have a trump like that.
With the Pyromancer dead, he just doesn't have the time. It's not lethal, but it is 1 point off of lethal.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's no clean answer. Now Brennan has a Colligan's Command. He can get to that last card.
He can hit one of those goblins.
Yeah.
That card's pretty weak in the matchup.
He's got a Bloodbraid Elf. I don't think he has the land for the Bloodbraid.
That is unfortunate because you could Bloodbraid into explosives on 0, and then you just have to fade Grape Shot or Lightning Bolt for some number of turns.
Brennan just picks up the cards. He's going to go to game 3. He doesn't have a play here.
Yeah, if you can't kill the goblins that turn, you're not winning the game.
Makes me wonder Yeah, I guess you're right.
I also like the concession because even though it's not lethal, you're kind of signaling that you just don't have an answer to goblins, which might incline Matthew to go for goblins in a game where they're just like dead to your engineered explosives.
Yeah, this way Matthew might think that you caught him without an answer, but that's not true.
Right, yeah, you're ice cold, I guess.
Nice. I'm so cool. I'm so smart. I caught you. Like, yeah, you can get him to miss sideboard with that early concession, and that might even make sense.
Right.
Interesting line. So it will be going to game 3. Yet again, you're seeing Storm go to 3. It's won all the game 3 so far, though.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back with that entire game 3. Brennan will be on the play in just a minute. Game number 3 here looms for Brennan DeCandio. His 4-color Pyromancer deck. And both players have kept on 7. Well, let's start it off. Turn 1, fetch to traverse. All right.
You think he's going to traverse for that basic forest?
He's only had traverse with Delirium once, and he got a stomping ground off it. just he fetches for Overgrown Tomb and gets Mountain this time.
Sure. Shouldn't have too much in the way of problems with the mana this game.
Sleight of hand for Matthew gives him an option between Empty the Warrens and Opt.
In general, when you see an empty, you want to take it. There is the question of how many rituals are already available.
Looks like he got some bolts and a pieces of the puzzle in his hand. He's going to take the Opt.
That makes Opt better. One thing I will say about Brennan's concession in game 1 is that I have a square for 5+ creatures attacking at once, and he really let me down.
Wow.
He really let me down.
Or more like he's on my team. Brennan's playing this bingo card.
He's not even casting Chase.
Collective Brutality from Brennan. That's just going to be the duress effect. So we'll see the hand. Pieces of the puzzle, Opt, 2 lightning bolts, and 3 more lands.
I also have a
right?
square for Collective Brutality using 2 modes.
Yeah, well, what other mode would you use? Drain 2? I mean, this is a clear, you take pieces, right?
Yes, this is fairly easy.
Yeah. Nice lightning bolts, friend.
Right.
I'm going to play a Bedlam Reveler in a couple turns and not care. Matthew draws Desperate Ritual. Land goes, but that Opt will get cashed in at some point here. What I do like about Matthew's side is he's going to continue to make land drops and build Graveyard, which is ready for a Past in Flames.
Yep.
Got to find it, though.
Even from here, getting a Pyromancer Ascension soon could be pretty good.
Thoughtseize from Brennan. And Matthew's going to let him get Thoughtseized. I'm a little surprised that he didn't Opt there.
The Ritual still might be the better take than the Opt.
Okay.
And if you opt into something good, then that's just going to be gone. If you opt into pieces, you're not going to have that pieces anymore.
Well, but if you... I guess if like the top card of the deck is random, right? So like the second card down could be the pieces too. So even if I happen to something good and he thought seizes it, then I have something nice in the yard. You know, it's still like extra value. I did things. And Brennan will take the opt. And says go.
Opt is really just kind of a rock and a hard place versus a discard effect.
Another land by Matthew. Passes. Matthew had a bit of tension in that land drop decision as he gets bolt to 17. Probably Bedlam Reveler, what that sets up for.
Approaching Delirium.
So yeah, Matthew played Spirebluff Canal because he was about to be up to 4 lands. However, that does mean that Brennan still has perfect information. Brennan for 4 will cast Bedlam Reveler. 4 instants and sorceries in the graveyard. He discards Abrupt Decay and land and will draw 3. Looks like Traverse, land, and something else. Of course, the Traverse does not have Delirium yet.
Yeah, still one more basic in the deck though, so.
Great.
Not even a problem.
Ooh, it looks like Brennan might hit Bloodbraid Elf though. So if that's the case, great. Big draw for Matthew though, finds pieces of the puzzle. Yeah, I'll cast that one. Golgari Charm actually, not Bloodbraid was the pickup. So we see Remand, land, Bolt, land, okay. So now there's 3 lightning bolts in Matthew's hand. When does Brennan get concerned about this?
I would certainly not shock and fetch anymore.
Yeah. 3 bolts Remand.
There's a ritual as well, so it's really easy to turn this into lethal with a Grape Shot.
Yeah. I like that kind of win plan. I like when decks backdoor into wins like that.
Yes.
Niall Spellbomb picked up though for Brennan.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean it stops these bolts if Matthew draws a Past in Flames and like that's really lethal. So this puts a stop to that, which I like.
Yes.
Here's the Spellbomb, Prowess trigger on Bedlam Reveler.
Mostly Brennan needs to fade a Grape Shot off the top.
You know what's going to happen though? Spellbomb is going to be cracked immediately, and that makes sense. It's because that's his 4th card type.
Yeah. Can traverse, he would still need white mana, but getting combo online would really put an end to that lightning bolt strategy. The first one would have to go for the combo itself.
Yeah, so if your opponent has 3 lightning bolts, do you still want to get Kumbal or do you just get Bloodbraid Elf?
The question is, what is Bloodbraid Elf even doing?
Hitting your opponent.
Well, so is combo though. It approximately has the same amount of haste damage.
But what if my Bloodbraid is going to cascade into Kumbal 100%?
Well, sure.
Then isn't Bloodbraid better? Because you get a 3/2 as well as the Kumbal?
Yes, in that hypothetical situation
where
you
could have them both.
Where instead of 1 Kumbal in Brennan's deck, he had only
Well, no,
Kumbals.
he just has 1, but it's on top.
Oh, that's a good configuration.
Yeah. He casts Bauble, gets another Prowess trigger off there. Might just cast Traverse too. Let's get more Prowess.
Kind of wants to leave up this Golgari Charm here. It's not a huge thing.
Yeah, so if he traverses, can that fetch land still find a green source, or is he out? He's got the Forest in play, and he has a Overgrown Tomb. So he's got he has a Stomping Ground.
Yep.
But he has to fetch Shock for Stomping Ground. The
That's
opponent's got a
where
lot
you
of lightning bolts.
There are 3.
He's gonna do it.
He knows about the ritual too, so he's kind of in a spot where he's just dead to Grape Shot.
What just happened here? Okay. He's casting Traverse. Okay, fair. His white source is a Sacred Foundry. Okay. So is it Kumbal? Is it Bloodbraid? Is it something else? Is it Hazaret the Fervent? That might even be good.
The card hits hard. Just the fact that none of these things are lethal on the next turn, I think makes Kumbal the best option by a lot.
Okay, here's Kumbal.
If any of them were literally lethal next turn, that's the only way you can convince me to grab any other card.
So he's got Matthew down to 11 this turn because there's been 3 Prowess.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kumbal, Council of Allocation. And they'll fetch for that Stomping Ground, for that Sacred Foundry tapped.
I've lost to this card.
When playing Storm or just playing anything?
Just playing a blue
I suppose
deck.
like Grixis is like, Serum Visions is bad against this card.
Just playing a deck with a bunch of ops.
Ooh, hope I find this. I'm trying to opt into a kill spell for it. Ooh, I didn't. That hurt. Okay,
Yeah.
let's try it.
I will take 100 damage.
6 comes across with the Bedlam Reveler. Matthew down to 11. And Brennan remembering to draw off that Bauble. Good play. I had forgotten about it. Matthew with 3 lightning bolts, though.
Picked up an opt for turn. There's a few different ways to play this opt. You can try to set up a big combo turn. You can look for just Grape Shot itself.
Ooh, Past in Flames is the top card. Oh, he's gonna ship? I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep the Past in Flames.
He drew Grape Shot.
I actually still think Past in Flames is better.
Isn't this? Yeah, so you don't know about the Grape Shot, obviously, but this Grape Shot is lethal this turn.
Wait, Matthew down to 11. He doesn't have the mana.
Ritual, bolt, bolt, Grape Shot.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Just has to see it.
Ritual, spell 1.
Spell 2.
Spell 2. Bolt, bolt, bolt is 9. No, he's killing Bedlam Reveler. Is he missing it? No. You're right. You're right. It's 15 damage. He missed the lethal.
Yikes.
But he does kill Bedlam Reveler.
In fairness,
no.
That's not usually how you set it up, but he did have it.
Oh, no, Matthew. Oh. It's okay. Okay, if he finds Past in Flames, he can probably win anyway.
That got a little bit harder with the 1 on the bottom of his library.
No. Here's Kambal. Matthew will have a bolt for the Kambal, but still. Oh, what a dagger. And you have to just bolt the Kambal here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Your deck just can't play against this card. You have to kill it immediately. Oh, does he have Remand?
Do you want to bolt it or remand it? If you had the choice. I think
I'd remand it and then bolt it, you know.
Here's a bolt. Matthew down to 7, Brennan up to 16. And let's read Golgari Charm for a second. Hold on.
Yikes.
Hold on. This is so good. This is so good. I bet you normally only see it kill enchantments and do -1, but there's a third mode. It regenerates all your creatures.
Yikes.
Okay. Matthew can Grape Shot for 3 to kill it and go to 1.
Yeah, I don't.
That's like your play, right?
He's also just out of stuff once he does that. But yeah, that's the only thing he can do.
That's the only thing you can do. You only play 3 lightning bolts and they're all in the graveyard.
Yep.
Like, might as well.
That is an ugly card to play against as a Storm Pilot.
Oh. We should have remanded it. And then we'd have gotten blown up by the Golgari Charm next turn, but you know.
Right. Maybe you drew something nice. I don't know.
All right, well, he has a way around it. This isn't gonna be pretty. Desperate Ritual down to 5.
Brennan wisely remembers his triggers.
Oh yeah, you don't forget these triggers. These ones are nice. Desperate Ritual down to 3. Grape Shot down to 1. Kill Kambal.
And Brennan just going above 20.
Grape Shot, kill it down to 1.
Among some other things. Please double check your belongings and make sure
All right.
everything you brought with
You're a
you
1.
is still in your possession.
It's gonna be tough to deal 22 damage with a 1-card hand.
You then have to bring them back to Roto.
The graveyard also just kind of trash. So really not able to do much even,
Faithless Looting, can we hit a Bloodbraid Elf?
or even just Lightning Bolt.
Oh, Traverse does it, right? Traverse plus a land
Yeah,
kills him.
Traverse land would do it.
Except he's got a remand. Oh man, do we have him? I don't have player remands Bloodbraid Elf. It would happen too. That's the gross part. Have you ever had to remand a Bloodbraid Elf?
I hope that never comes up.
It was like, well, I'm not technically dead, but this sure stinks.
Right.
Have your Bloodbraid Elf back.
You are going to kill me with that next turn.
Fatal Push, Engineer Explosives, Land, and Traverse, I believe, are Brennan's cards. It might be Grim Flayer and Traverse.
Yeah, from 22 against 1 card, I think we can safely pitch that Explosives.
What if there's a lot of goblins? Just a lot.
There might be as many as 4 on the following turn.
Yeah, it's Grim Flayer and Traverse for Brennan. That's what he's kept in hand. He has double green, so he can do it all.
Yeah, you can cast the Flayer this turn, Traverse for something that's also lethal.
Yeah, he's gonna Traverse. Is there something better? Oh wait, he has Direfleet. If Direfleet Daredevil's in, he can just bolt Matthew, right?
True.
That seems nice.
The card is fine in the matchup. I wouldn't expect it to be in.
Here's Bloodbraid Elf. Because Brennan can't play blue spells with the Daredevil, I think I might be out on boarding it in. You can't just like snag a Serum Visions.
Yep.
And then Flayer was remanded. Back over to Matthew. Opt from Matthew. Scries to the bottom and draws. Casts Kumbal.
Baral.
They're related.
I really enjoy Baral's title.
He's the Chief of Compliance.
Chief of Compliance.
All right, here's Bloodbraid Elf. Cascade. Here we go. Into Fatal Push. And Bloodbraid Elf swings for lethal. I got that square. And that's going to be the match. Brennan DeCandio, 4-color Pyromancer. He gets the job done. He beats Gift Storm 2 games to 1.